Athletic and Convocation Center, Notre Dame, Indiana. It's the Tigers of Auburn against the Boilermakers of Purdue. On the campus of Notre Dame in South Bend, Indiana, it's NCAA tournament action. The Southeast Regional continues as Auburn takes on Purdue. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to South Bend, Indiana. I'm Tom Hammond. I'll call the play-by-play this afternoon. Jack Gibbons is here for the color commentary. Auburn out of the Southeastern Conference, Purdue from the Big Ten. A couple of teams that won 20 games during the regular season. They both played grueling round-robin schedules in the Southeastern Conference and the Big Ten, but Auburn also had to play in an SEC tournament to get to the NCAA playoffs. That could be a factor today.
And, Tom, it was a tough tournament. They had to win 4 games to get here. 4 games is more than any team has ever won in the SEC tournament to get here, so they are coming off an emotional tournament. We'll see if that affects them in this game.
Jack, let's spotlight a couple of players. First for Auburn, honorable mention All-American and unanimous All-SEC, Chuck Person.
Boy, and a tremendous player, one of the best forwards in the country. At 6'8", 215 pounds, he's averaging 22 points a game and 9 rebounds. A great, great player, can score on the inside and the outside.
And, of course, Purdue, if their inside game is going to click, they'll depend on James Bullock.
Well, he's a physical player, Tom. He likes to mix it up on the inside. He's their leading scoring rebounder, also getting 14 points and 6.5 rebounds every time out.
All right, from the Southeast Regional, it's Auburn against Purdue. We'll be back with the starting lineups right after these messages.
The senior from Brownsburg, Indiana, number 30, Mark Atkinson. For Auburn at forward, 6'7" and a freshman from Birmingham, Alabama, number 40, Jeff Moore. For the Boilers at forward, 6'7" and a freshman from Toledo, Ohio, number 33, Todd Mitchell. At center for the Tigers, 6'7" and a freshman from Atlanta, Georgia, number 34, Chris Morris. For Purdue at center, 6'6" and a senior from Gary, Indiana, number 15, James Bullock. For Auburn at guard, 6'4" and a sophomore from Kissimmee, Florida, number 15, Frank Ford. For Purdue at guard, 6'4" and a freshman from Anderson, Indiana, number 23, Troy Lewis. At guard for the Tigers, 6'1" and a sophomore from Augusta, Georgia, number 12, Gerald White. For the Boilermakers at guard, 5'9" and a senior from Dodge City, Kansas, number 25, Steve Reed. The head coach of the Tigers in his 6th year, Sonny Smith, and for the Boilermakers in his 5th year, Gene Cady.
And there you have the starting lineups for this afternoon's game from the Southeast Regional. Auburn against Purdue. We'll return with the opening tip-off after these messages.
Before you buy any sports car.
Tom Hammond and Jack Gibbons from South Bend, Indiana, the Southeast Regional. It's Auburn against Purdue this afternoon. The officials for today's game are Tom Frame, Rick Eichhorst, and Ron Labatich. As we have them listed, Larry Limbo is listed there also, but we have Frame, Eichhorst, and Labatich set to call this afternoon's game. Auburn, record of 20-11 out of the Southeastern Conference, winner of the SEC tournament to get to the NCAA, and Purdue with a record of 20-8, tied for 3rd in the Big Ten, 11-7 in Big Ten play. Starters again for this afternoon's game: Person, Morris, Moore, White, and Ford, as you saw for Auburn. Atkinson, Mitchell, Bullock, Lewis, and Reed for Purdue. Sonny Smith, the Auburn coach, has announced his resignation at the end of the season, potentially the last game at Auburn for Sonny Smith. You see their record during the regular season. Purdue is the higher-seeded team, wears the white this afternoon. It's going to be Chris Morris jumping against James Bullock. Bullock 6'6", Morris 6'7". And Morris of Auburn controls the opening tap. So the Tigers have the first crack on offense to open the game. Jack, let's check the defensive alignment for Purdue.
Well, it looks like Purdue opens up right into the man-to-man defense. Wants to get the pressure on early. Auburn gets it on the inside for the team.
Fronting and going for the steal. Purdue doesn't come up with it. They get the ball to Chris Morris, and he lays it in wide open. Auburn draws first blood. All right, what about the defense for Auburn?
Well, Auburn is zone a lot. They don't like to go as deep into their bench as Purdue can, so they'll stay in that zone, try to protect the players, keep them out of foul trouble.
Auburn scores the first bucket on a layup from Morris, and Purdue tries to answer. Reed on the point inside Bullock. Shoots over Moore, no good. Rebound knocked around, and a foul will be called on Atkinson of Purdue. Auburn got the rebound. Atkinson fouled trying to get it back. That's the first foul of the game.
Good job by Auburn on the defensive rebound that time. They had pretty good position on the inside out of that zone. Sometimes it's difficult to rebound out of the zone. That time Auburn had no problem getting position.
Full court pressure from Purdue. Auburn brings it up with a 2-0 lead. We played 45 seconds of this Southeast Regional game. Gerald White, guarded by Reed, pulls up, kicks it back out right into the hands of Purdue's Mitchell. Here come the Boilermakers. Quickly in front court is Lewis. Feeds to Reed. Jump shot, no good. Battle for the rebound. Kept by Bullock and taken by Purdue. Boilermakers again set it up on the half court, trailing 2-0. Reed from the top of the key bounces to Bullock in the paint, stolen by Auburn. Ford to White, back to Ford for the hoop, up and good. It'll count, and a foul on Purdue.
Well, good fast break by Auburn that time. They got out on the break, got the ball in the middle to pretty good position. Gerald White handling it in the open floor, and you see the foul there by Steve Reed.
Reed commits his first. That's the second against the Boilermakers. And Frank Ford will step to the line trying to convert the three-point trip. Ford, 6'4", sophomore from Kissimmee, Florida, averages 11 a game, bounces that one in off the front of the rim. It was Ford that hit the shot to put the Tigers game against Alabama into overtime of the Southeastern Conference Tournament. Auburn went on to win it by 4, earning their second straight trip to the NCAA tournament. The only 2 years Auburn has been in the NCAA playoffs the last 2 years. They lead 5-0.
Auburn still in that zone, Tom. They switch up into a 3-2 and 2-1-2 zone, and Purdue that time solved it by hitting the outside jump shot.
Steve Reed just at the top of the key. That'll pull that sagging zone out a little bit if Reed can hit from there. He has Purdue's first 2, cuts the Auburn lead to 3. Posting up inside is Ford, and he is fouled by Lewis. Troy Lewis has his first foul. 3 quick ones against Purdue. Ford at 6'4", trying to post up low, but of course guarded by Lewis, who's also a 6'4". You see Gene Cady, the Purdue coach, in his 5th year in West Lafayette. He's won 102 games, lost 49.
Auburn really likes to work against the man-to-man defense. They are so active, especially on the inside, that they are very effective against the man-to-man.
Morris couldn't hit. Atkinson rebounds. Reed shot short, no good. Here's White for Auburn. Kicks it quickly to Morris, going for the hoop. Morris lays it in. Pretty break for the Tigers.
Well, Auburn getting out on the fast break. They're doing a good job on the defensive rebounding. They're getting the ball, and once they get it, they've got so much quickness. Purdue is going to have to do a better job converting defensively to cut off the fast break.
5-point lead equals Auburn's longest. The Tigers showing no effects of that tough week last week when they won 4 games to take the SEC tournament title, beating their arch rival Alabama to do so.
I think if Auburn gets off to a good start, that fatigue may not be a factor.
Bullock shot blocked by Moore, and a foul on Auburn. No, it's going to be the other way, a foul on Purdue.
I think Bullock used that arm to push off, trying to get position to keep one of the Auburn defensive players from blocking that shot. He used that arm to push off. That called the offensive foul.
Coach Cady cannot believe the call, but it is a foul against Bullock, his first, and 4 against Purdue. Auburn has yet to commit a foul. Chuck Person at 6'8", brings it up court. Guarded by Atkinson, who reaches in and commits his second foul. Purdue already in foul trouble. That's 5 with only 17-12. We have played less than 3 minutes of the game. Already 5 team fouls against the Boilermakers and 2 on Atkinson. There's the foul situation so far. Auburn with a 7-2 lead and the basketball. Purdue stays man-to-man. That's Reed guarding White. White, the trigger man on the offense. Second in the Southeastern Conference in assists. He put that one up, and Reed got him on the arm. That's 2 fouls on Steve Reed, and now 6 on Purdue. Jack Purdue in some serious foul on
They really are, Tom, and they're just reaching in right now, not really moving defensively and getting good defensive position, and it's really a problem for them here early in the game.
And Gene Cady has called a timeout. So with 17 minutes left, Purdue calls a timeout, and Auburn leads 7-2. After 3 minutes, Auburn leads Purdue by 5. Jack, they've really been able to get out on the fast break.
Well, they have. They're doing a good job. As you see here, look at the rebounding position that Auburn has on the inside. And once they get the ball, they're kicking it out there and getting down for the fast break before Purdue gets back and sets up their defense. Good job of running the fast break here early by Auburn.
Chris Morris converting. He was on the All-Southeastern Conference freshman team. You see the record of Sonny Smith, who has announced his resignation. He is what he calls a lame duck coach. At the free throw line for Auburn, Gerald White misses the first one off the front of the rim. White averages 8 points a game. He's a native of Augusta, Georgia, a sophomore. Second in the Southeastern Conference in assists and fourth in steals. Missed both free throws. Auburn, not a good free throw shooting team, just 64% on the season. That's the score. Auburn maintaining a 5-point lead.
See Auburn still in that zone, Tom, and 3-2 zone changes up sometimes to a 2-1-2 zone.
Bullock fakes, hits it off the glass over Moore. James Bullock with his first basket. That pulls Purdue within 3. Auburn still man-to-man. White lobs it for Ford, knocked away and out of bounds by Bullock. Good hustling help-out defense by James Bullock.
Well, that's the kind of effort you have to get when you're in the man-to-man. If you're going to stay man-to-man, you've got to play good team defense. Purdue did at that time.
Atkinson with a steal for Purdue. They tried to lob it to Person. Atkinson picked it off. Boilermakers can't control it in one. Basket no good by Lewis. Auburn rebound. Chris Morris with another layup off the fast break. Auburn continues to get out on the break. Morris has 6 points early, and the Auburn lead is 9-4. Tigers continue to run the fast break to perfection. We played 4 minutes of this Southeast Regional game. Auburn has led the entire way.
See Auburn really aggressive in their zone defense. They opened up the game in the zone, and they've been in it since the start, and they play a lot of zone defense, 2-1-2, 3-2 zone.
Mitchell takes a dribble, can't get a shot away. Atkinson flips it back out to Reed. Lewis. Mitchell thought about the shot, now takes it from 16. No good. Person rebounds for Auburn. Here comes Gerald White again on the break for the Tigers. Holds up, hands it to Person. Person, 20-footer, no good. Rebound Mitchell, and a foul on Moore of Auburn.
Moore a little bit too aggressive that time. Purdue doing a good job on the glass themselves that time. Moore trying to come up with the loose ball. I think he got off balance and just couldn't avoid picking up the foul.
Gene Cady in front of the Purdue bench. That's the first team foul on Auburn, and it comes with 15:20 on the clock. Purdue's record for the season, that 20-9 mark, 11-7 in the Big Ten. Purdue with the basketball, chance to pull within 4. Reed gets them there. Steve Reed with the outside jumper, his 4th point, and that cuts the Auburn lead to 3 at 9-6.
Well, you just can't give him that shot. He could make those all day. Auburn that time didn't put any pressure on Steve Reed from the corner, and you saw what he can do.
Here's the lob into Morris, who jams it. Morris got free for the lob. He has 8 points, 8 of Auburn's 11, and the Tigers again lead by 5.
Everything working right now for Auburn, and as I said, they like to play against a man-to-man.
Reed lost the handle. Here's Auburn 3-on-2. White lays it in. Reed just lost the handle. Auburn picked it up on the fly, and again, the Tigers show us the fast break. They lead 13-6. That's their biggest lead. Lewis to Reed on a wing. Down low, Bullock surrounded by the zone. 3 blue shirts around him. Missed the shot, and Moore clears it for Auburn.
You've got to give Auburn credit right now. Everything going their way, but they're making it happen that way. They're playing that zone very aggressively. They're getting good rebound position once the shot goes up.
Reed is going to have to hit some more from outside to turn that zone out. Lobbed it for Ford. He missed. Followed by Person is no good, and then a foul underneath called against Auburn. Well, somehow or other they got a man free, missed the shot, and they missed the tap. The foul's going to be on Purdue. Let's see if they called it on.
For Auburn, you see them running that backdoor play. They're setting a screen up high for that guy. Purdue in the man-to-man, trying to overplay up there, and there was the play, and there was the tip in, and Bullock picked up the foul.
James Bullock with his second foul. Purdue now has Atkinson with 2, Bullock with 2, and Reed with 2. They went back door to Ford, who missed the layup. Person was there to rebound, and Bullock was on his back. Chuck Person will shoot 1+1 at the Auburn free throw line. Auburn already in the bonus with 13:53 to play first half. You see the stats on Person. He's a good clutch free throw shooter, too. Hit several down the stretch in the SEC tournament against LSU to preserve the win for Auburn against the regular season SEC champion. He scored 1,545 points in his career now, 4th all-time at Auburn and just a junior. First 2 of the game for Chuck Person, shooting for his 66th straight double figures game today. 15-6 is the Auburn lead. Full court pressure this time from the Tigers.
Auburn putting on the pressure. Purdue handling it pretty easily right now. Auburn just trying to slow Purdue up, show him something different to confuse him just a little.
Lewis hits from outside. Troy Lewis with his first 2. If the Purdue guards can hit from long range, that'll force that zone out a little bit.
Well, Auburn will have to open it up a little bit. Then Purdue can maybe get their inside game working, which is what they like to do.
The front line for Purdue so far, Bullock, Mitchell, and Atkinson, just a field goal between them. Person drives, feeds it off to Holland, who's in the game for Auburn, and a traveling call. Auburn turns it over. Auburn does have Kerry Holland in the game, 33 in blue, 6'7" senior from Baldwin, Florida, averaging 5 points and 3 rebounds a game. Also, coming in is Johnny Lynn of Auburn.
Saw Chuck Person taking the ball to the basket that time. He lost control of it. Auburn trying to come up with it, committed the turnover.
Johnny Lynn is 14 in blue for Auburn, 6'2" freshman, Hendersonville, Tennessee, averages a point a game. Here's Reed again. Steve Reed has it going from outside. Reed now with 6. He leads Purdue in scoring. Cuts the Auburn lead to 5.
Reed's found himself a place in that corner. Auburn obviously going to have to pay a little bit closer attention to him where he is on the floor because he has it working right now.
Here's a steal by Auburn. Or by Purdue. Littlejohn picked it off. Lewis to the hoop. His shot no good. Rebounded by Person. Littlejohn with the interception, but Purdue unable to convert. Robert Littlejohn is 40 and white, 6'9" junior from Fort Wayne, averaging 4 points, 3 rebounds a game. Auburn maintains a 5-point lead. Off the glass, Frank Ford hits for Auburn.
Well, a good job, Purdue picking up the pressure defensively, trying to force Auburn into some turnovers. That time they handled the pressure and got a good shot and a good 2 points.
Ford has 5 points. Auburn lead again is 7. Lewis, top of the key. Flips it in the corner to Atkinson, back around the perimeter of the zone. Reed has been the only man to hit with consistency today for Purdue from long range.
That's Lewis's shot at the top of the key. We'll probably see him put it up here in just a minute. He loves to shoot that outside jumper.
Here is Lewis, short range jumper, pops out. Tapped by Bullock once, twice, no good. Rebounded by Person of Auburn. It comes out on the dribble. Person holds it up, and Auburn will set it up on the half court. 11.5 minutes remaining in the first half. Tigers lead by 7.
Purdue with some tough breaks on the offensive end.
Holland in close, lays it in. Kerry Holland, who is the only senior on this Auburn team, gets his first bucket, and it's a 9-point advantage, biggest lead of the game.
I'm watching some of the players of Auburn, and they seem to be running pretty good, but they're breathing pretty hard and showing some signs of fatigue. Of course, they had to play 4 games in that SEC tournament.
Here's Bullock, James Bullock with a power move inside. Bullock lays it in for his 4th. The senior from Gary averaging 14 a game. And it's a 19-12 Auburn lead. Now looks like Purdue is going to change defenses here, Jack.
Well, I think they are. It looks like they are going into a 2-3 zone. I think that'll help Auburn, though. If they are a little bit fatigued, they can now back that thing out and just run some time off the clock.
Remember now, as these two teams had during the regular season a shot clock in their respective conferences, the Southeastern and the Big Ten, NCAA tournament, no shot clock. Person misses the short jumper. Bullock wades in to clear the rebound. Here's Reed on the break for the Boilermakers. Purdue holds it up, and they'll set up the offense. Reed fires top of the key. No good. Rebound. Save. Beautiful save in there by Bullock. They set it up again. Halfway mark of the first period. Reed downtown. His 8th point. Steve Reed is keeping Purdue in the game. They trail by 5.
Oh, he really is. He's really got it working for him here early in the ballgame. Made 2 or 3 shots out of the corner. Now he's up at the top of the key looking for a shot up there. Auburn, as I said, they're going to have to pay a little closer attention to him. He's very hot right now.
Reed, the assist leader in the Big Ten, showing us the outside scoring punch here in the first half.
Purdue this time is in a zone, a 2-3 zone.
Auburn not penetrating the zone at the moment. Lynn. Now they go into the paint. Ford drives to the basket and travels. Auburn turns it over. So Auburn turns it over, and Purdue will come back with a chance to pull within 4. Timeout on the court with a score. Auburn 19, Purdue 14. Coach Gene Cady. They trail by 5, and they'll have the ball when we come back to play. Steve Reed has shown us the outside shooting, but we also know he can get the ball inside when they need it.
Boy, he really can, and you see him get the ball inside here to Bullock, and Bullock makes a strong move to the basket.
So Bullock getting 4 points so far. Tom Hammond and Jack Gibbons from the Athletic and Convocation Center on the campus of Notre Dame in South Bend, Indiana. Southeast Regional Tournament action. Auburn quickly out of the starting gate, has never trailed with 9:23 to play in the first half. It's 19-14 Auburn over Purdue, but Purdue will have the ball and a chance to cut into that lead.
Purdue seems now to have gotten control of the game, control of the tempo. They're still down by 5 points, but it's changing a little bit, and seems like they're working their stuff a little bit better and having a little bit more success against the Auburn zone.
Matt Gaddis into the game for Purdue, number 11, 6'1" junior from Indianapolis, averaging 8 a game. Atkinson tries to save it. Littlejohn picks it up. Good hustle by Littlejohn. Reed looks over that zone. Over to Gaddis. Atkinson in the corner. Reed gets a step on Lynn. Lets it fly. No good. Moore with a rebound and a quick outlet to Morris for Auburn.
We saw Auburn that time out a little bit further and a little bit closer to Steve Reed. He got hot there and has been hot. He got a little bit closer to him that time. He had to force that one a little bit.
Reed has 8 to produce 14 points here in the first half. 8.5 minutes to play in the initial period of the Southeast Regional game. Winner of this one will meet Kansas in the next round. Kansas a winner over Ohio U, 49-38 in the first game at South Bend today.
Tom, Purdue now on a boxing chaser. Mark Atch's been assigned to Chuck Person. Auburn handles it that time, though.
Frank Ford hits. He has 7. Ford has 7. Morris has 8. The Auburn lead is back at 7 points at 21-14. Just when it appeared that Purdue was making a run, Auburn gets the miss and converts it on the offensive end. Moore has a hand on it to knock it out of bounds.
Auburn needed a basket that time. As I said, Purdue had gotten control of the tempo the last 2 or 3 minutes before that break, and Auburn was in bad need of a basket. They got one that time.
Here's Reed, open for a moment, didn't shoot. Gaddis will shoot, no good. Bullock saves the rebound for Purdue.
Well, he's really been active on the inside, come up with some big offensive rebounds for Purdue.
Gaddis backs it out. They'll set it up again. Auburn still in the zone. Auburn was 8-10 in the regular season in the Southeastern Conference, tied for 7th place in the league standings, but got hot late, as Sonny Smith predicted they would, with a very young team starting 2 freshmen, 2 sophomores, and a junior. And they have won 5 in a row. Shot by Bullock won't go, and a foul on Frank Ford of Auburn.
Ford reached in that time trying to knock the ball away from Bullock, and that's very difficult to do. Bullock's very strong. Once he catches the ball on the inside like that, you just have to get better position, and you can't rely on that reaching in to knock it away.
That's the first foul on Ford, only the second against Auburn. See Bullock, outstanding shooter from the field, but not so good at the free throw line, just about 55%. He hits that one, though, and he'll have another. Coming off a great week last week that saw him being named Big Ten Player of the Week. Missed the second one, tapped out, though, to Reed. So Purdue saves it and a chance for a 3-point trip. Here's Mark Atkinson, who struggled here early. Passes off to Gaddis in the corner, Reed. Purdue trails by 6.
Auburn still aggressive in their 2-1-2 zone defense right now, trying to force Purdue to shoot the ball from the outside.
Reed brings it straight away. Gaddis on a wing, back to Reed. In the other corner, Atkinson, his first shot, no good. Rebounded by Ford of Auburn. Purdue continues to have problems hitting the basket, and Auburn taking advantage.
Frank Ford, for guard, gets a lot of rebounds, Tom. He's getting about 5 rebounds per game for Auburn. That's him with the ball right there. That really helps a lot when you can send your guard inside and do that effective rebounding.
Chuck Person at 6'8", you think of him as an inside player, but he can shoot that jumper out to about 20 feet. Got that one from long range. Person has 4, and the Auburn lead is 23-15.
Person can score on the inside. He can score on the outside. A complete player.
And Reed can score. That's 10 for Steve Reed. In the first half, he has 10 of Purdue's 17 points. This telecast presented by authority of the NCAA. Any use of this program without written consent is prohibited. The announcers for this program approved and contracted by NCAA Productions. Transportation arrangements provided through Fugazi International Travel, the official travel agency of the 1985 NCAA basketball tournament. Chris Morris from 14. No good. Rebound Bullock to Purdue. Here's the outlet to Reed. The Boilermakers running. Reed to Gaddis. Takes the shot, doesn't get it away. As Purdue got back on defense. Or excuse me, Auburn back on defense, preventing the Purdue fast break.
Auburn's got a lot of quickness. Purdue hadn't been able to take advantage of the runouts when they've had them. Auburn doing a good job getting back, converting defensively.
Reed, he's been hot. He's still hot.
Well, when you got a guy that hot, you want to take your time and work the ball so you can get it to him in good shape. And Purdue doing a real good job right now getting him the ball.
Absolutely keeping Purdue in the game. Reed with 12 points of Purdue's total of 19. They pull within 4, 5 minutes to go first half. Person, 16-footer off the mark. Reed hasn't come right to him. He's tripped by White. Gerald White with his first foul. Just 3, though, against Auburn.
Well, Gerald White looked at the official and said, I didn't mean to do it. I really didn't, but still got called with his first personal foul.
Common foul. It'll be Purdue's ball when we come back to play, but we'll take a timeout. 4:54 to play first half. Timeout on the court. The score, Auburn 23, Purdue 19. Auburn with the lead, just under 5 minutes to play in the first half. You're looking at the Auburn huddle. Coach Sonny Smith in the pink sport coat. He said he bought that sport coat just for the SEC and NCAA tournament. Sonny Smith said he used to buy a couple of new pairs of shoes for the tournament each year, but Hugh Durham, the coach at Georgia, told him he wasn't getting to wear but one pair of those shoes. He needed to have a new tactic, so he said he started buying one thing new for the tournaments. That's his new pink coat. Worked so far. His team leads by 4, but Purdue with a chance to pull within 2 with a bucket here. It's been an uphill battle for the Boilermakers, but they're hanging in there on the shooting of Steve Reed. You saw the rebounding so far.
Auburn for the first time in a man-to-man, or what appears to be a man-to-man. I guess actually they're in a boxing chaser. Steve Reed is drawing the assignment of that one man, trying to cool him off a little bit here.
Herb Robinson into the game for Purdue. He's a 6'5 junior from Lansing, Michigan, averaging 2 points a game. This is Robinson with the basketball here. Feeds inside to Bullock. Strong move to the hoop. It'll count. And a foul on Moore of Auburn.
Now that's about the best position Bullock's been able to catch the ball in this game. See Purdue really moving around. Bullock's so strong, gets position on the inside and makes a strong move to the basket. Jeff Moore picks up his foul. Second foul.
So Moore leaves the game, replaced by Darren Guest. Guest is a 6'9 freshman from Harvey, Illinois, who's averaging 2 a game for the Tigers. Bullock at the free throw line. He's 1 of 2 at the strike this afternoon. Missed that one. Battle for the rebound taken by Person of Auburn. So Bullock has now missed 2 in a row at the free throw line, and the Auburn lead is 2. Auburn with a 2-point lead, 4 minutes, 5 seconds to play in the first half. 23-21 Tigers.
Purdue now back in the man-to-man. I'm sure they'll try to get the ball inside to Chuck Person. Haven't been able to do that so far. There he is with it.
Person picks it up off the floor after it was batted around a couple of times and bangs it home for his 6th point of the game. Auburn, the #1 rebounding team in the Southeastern Conference.
Purdue's done a pretty good job overall on Person. He hadn't been able to handle the ball very much, but you see what he can do once he catches it.
25-21, 3.5 on the clock. Reed has kept Purdue in the game, but last time down court they got it inside to Bullock. Reed shot blocked by Morris. Reed takes it back, and Morris reaching in commits the foul. Chris Morris with his first, but only the 5th against Auburn. It'll be a common foul.
Well, Auburn had gone into that box and chaser. Morris has been assigned to guard Steve Reed, who's been burning it up, and it's right from the beginning. He got to block, as you'll see here. Reed's going to try to put it up, and there's the reach in right there where the official called it. The official from across the floor called the foul, and a long way to go for that foul.
Morris at 6'7", guarding a 5'9" Reed. Lob it underneath. Bullock couldn't quite handle it. Got controlled and missed from right underneath. Rebound Auburn. Tigers come the other way. They got a lucky break that time, and Bullock missed in close. White traveled. Gerald White out of control for Auburn. Turns it over.
Well, he was out of control, and he knew it when he dribbled in there into pressure. He was going to be in trouble. He tried to throw the ball back out, but got that pivot put up and back down before he got rid of the ball. And you see the turnover there, 6 for Auburn and 3 for Purdue.
Purdue averages only 11 turnovers a game. If they continue at that pace, it'll be a school record. Reed gets a screen, lets it fly, bottom.
And he did that with a boxing chasing on him. They're really setting screens for him, and he's doing a good job moving without the ball. He really is.
14 points in the first half for Steve Reed, and Purdue is within 2. White feeds inside, gets. He goes to the hoop, misses. Morris jams the rebound.
Auburn doing such a good job on the boards on both ends of the floor.
Chris Morris has 10 points to lead the Auburn scoring attack, and the Tigers seesaw back up by 4, 27-23. Reed inside Bullock. He's double teamed, flashes it back out. Here's Gaddis, a spinning move, can't get loose. Robinson inside, turnaround jumper by Littlejohn. Robert Littlejohn off the bench for his first 2, and that cuts the Auburn lead to 2, 27-25.
Both teams picking up the scoring pace here a little bit in the last couple of minutes. Purdue really working their offense well.
Chuck Person off the glass. When you get it to him there, it's hard to stop him.
Boy, it really is. You just can't let him catch it that close to the basket. You have to front him, keep the ball out of his hands, because once he catches the ball, that's 2 points, especially that close to the basket.
8 in the first half for Person. The Auburn lead again 4. Robinson passed it to no one and picked off by Person. Gets it to White, pulls up for the jump shot. It's no good. Rebound by Ford. Knocked away. Ford gets it back. Shot up and no good. Tapped out of bounds. Last touch by Purdue. Again, Auburn on the offensive glass.
Well, what a job they're doing. And you see Purdue coach right there, Gene Cady, up getting on his team, saying, hey, talking to the official right there, but he's really upset with his team for not doing a better job rebounding.
And upset with the officials, too. He thought there was a pushing off foul underneath. 1:27 to go first half. Auburn with the ball up 4. Here's the Mark Atkinson back into the game for Purdue. Atkinson replaces Robinson. White triggers it into Lynn. Shot blocked out of bounds. Reed and Gaddis up there to block it. It'll be Auburn's ball.
Reed got beat coming down there on that out-of-bounds play, but he recovered well and still was able to get a block right there. Good defensive effort.
Sonny Smith calls the offense. He has Kerry Holland back into the game, replacing Darren Guest. Lynn takes the inbounds pass. Here's Person at long range. White can't get anything there. He'll back it out. Clock ticks down toward the 1-minute mark. Auburn with the ball, leading 29-25. Tigers have never trailed in the first half. White, 16-footer, is a beauty. Gerald White has 4 points, and Auburn again by 6 with 1 minute to play.
Purdue went to the zone that time. They'll zone the out-of-bounds play, and Auburn moves the ball around well that time until they got a good shot and made a big basket.
Littlejohn back to Reed. Shot up. No good. Short on that one. Good rebounding position by Person, who picks it off for Auburn. So Reed does miss one, and Auburn, as they have been for the first half, controlling the rebound.
And I think Auburn will work for the last shot. 35 seconds in this first half to go, and I think they'll work and run the time off and go for that last shot.
Lynn, guarded by Reed, gives it up to Morris. Now 20 seconds to play first half. Lynn, they start to play now with 10 seconds. Lynn lost the handle, kicked around, loose on the floor, picked up by Morris with 5. He lets it fly, no good. Lynn follows not there, rebounded by Purdue as the first half comes to an end. Well, Littlejohn finally went in there to get a Purdue rebound. It appeared that Auburn would again on the offensive glass have several shots at it, but the first half comes to an end without Auburn being able to score and without Purdue getting a shot at it as the horn sounded. So that's the end of the first half of play, with Auburn leading the entire way. The score, Auburn 31, Purdue 25. We'll be back after these messages and a local station break. This is an NCAA Productions telecast.
Purdue 41.4%. Free throw percentage, Auburn 3 of 5 for 60%. Purdue has only made 1 of 3. And the rebounding there is a real big factor. Auburn 21 first half rebounds to only 13 for Purdue.
Auburn, of course, controlling the boards on both ends of the floor. The turnovers, Auburn has committed 1 more. Off the bench, it's all even, just 2 apiece off the bench. And assists, Auburn has 2 more assists in that first half. Ready to start the second half of play. It'll be Purdue's ball to open the second half. They return with Mark Atkinson. Steve Reed is in the game. We also have Troy Lewis, James Bullock, and Todd Mitchell, the original starting 5 for the Boilermakers. Auburn answers with their original starting 5. That's Person, Morris, Moore, White, and Ford.
And they open up just the way they left off. Moore is chasing Steve Reed. Auburn in a boxing chase, and Moore is going to follow Steve Reed everywhere he goes.
Reed with 14 of Purdue's 25 first half points. Here's a spinning move by Lewis. Finally goes in for Lewis, his 4th point of the game. And Purdue scores to open the second half. They now trail by 4. Purdue scores to open the second half. Auburn misses, but holds on to possession. Ford off the glass, no good, and Bullock takes the rebound for Purdue.
Auburn opening up the second half the same way they played in the first half, getting those offensive rebounds. Almost a turnover there. Purdue will get the ball out of bounds.
Ford batted it out of bounds. Purdue retains possession. The Boilermakers down 4. Opening minute of the second half. Auburn's biggest lead in the first half was 9. At intermission, they were up 6. Inside, Bullock against Moore. Lays it up. No good. Knocked out of bounds. It'll go to Auburn. Knocked out by Mitchell after Bullock missed one right underneath.
Well, you won't see him miss many like that. He got himself in pretty good position, made a strong move to the basket, had just a little bit too much on it. It rolled off there, but he doesn't miss many like that.
Gerald White, Purdue still in a man-to-man. Person is shot blocked by Atkinson.
Now, that's nice defense by Atkinson. He's got his hand full trying to contain Chuck Person. So far, he's done a pretty good job.
Atkinson, the best defensive player on this Purdue team, held Chuck Person to 8 points in the first half, against the 22 per game average. Person misses that one, and Atkinson has the rebound. Reed drives, kicks to Atkinson, fakes the shot, gives it to Lewis. His shot won't go, and a rebound forward of Auburn.
Auburn really attacks the boards.
Lob intended for Morris. Broken up by Purdue. Taken away by Reed in the front court. Atkinson looking inside. Bullock not able to get loose among all the blue shirts in there. So now it'll be Lewis that backs it out for Purdue.
Well, he's going to back it out, and they'll work the ball around. Of course, they'd like to get the ball to Steve Reed right there, but he's got a man assigned to him. The other Auburn players in the zone defense.
Atkinson. Lewis. Played just over 2 minutes of the second half. Purdue has scored a field goal. Auburn has not scored. Reed, partially blocked by Morris. Auburn tried to just give a tuck pass on the outlet, and it's broken up by Purdue. Here's another steal by Morris, knocking it out of bounds, but Purdue retains possession.
Well, that's the reason why Morris is assigned to Steve Reed. He got a piece of that shot by Steve Reed. Steve Reed now is going to be thinking about Morris, so that, in effect, has worked for Auburn going into that box and chaser.
Morris again at 6'7", guarding the 5'9" Reed, and quick enough to stay with it. Atkinson in the corner. Back out front to Lewis.
Someone else for Purdue is going to have to shoot the ball from the outside.
Bullock with a nice inside move. He took the freshman Jeff Moore to school that time. Little fake, turned and laid it in. 9 points for Bullock.
Well, Purdue really working it well. I was just going to say someone has to shoot it from the outside to get him open on the inside, but Bullock still was able to get open on the inside.
Pushing foul whistled against Todd Mitchell of Purdue. That's his first, and the first foul on either team here in the second half. Purdue has outscored Auburn 4-0 in the second half, and we played almost 3 minutes. Person guarded by Atkinson. Gives it up to Ford. And now Gerald White.
He's still in that man-to-man defense.
Lob inside, Ford laid it in. Good pass from Person. Ford gets the hoop, his 9th point.
Good ball movement by Auburn. They stayed right with their offensive formation, didn't force any shots, just waited for something to develop, and got a real good shot. That normally happens when you're patient.
First bucket of the second half for Auburn. Reed open for a moment, fed it to Bullock. Bullock turns on Moore, lost the handle. Picked off by Ford, gets it to White. White to the basket, off the glass, good. Again, the fast break by Auburn.
Well, they're so good in the open floor. Every player on that team can handle the ball in the open floor, and that's what makes their fast break so effective. No matter who gets it on the fast break, he's able to handle that ball.
Purdue was within 2, but Auburn has put the lead back up to 6. Atkinson looks inside. Lewis. Beautiful jump shot by Troy Lewis.
Well, he's a shooter, just a freshman, but he can shoot it from the outside with anyone.
Averaging 10 a game. That's his 6th point of the day. He has 4 of the 6 this half. 4-point Auburn lead. Moore is open. Shot is short. Rebounded by Mitchell of Purdue. Here's Reed in a hurry for the Boilermakers. Lewis, 2 in a row for Troy Lewis. He has 6 points already this half.
Auburn pretty concerned with Bullock on the inside and with Steve Reed, so that's going to open up some shots for the other Purdue players if they can make them.
Boilermakers back within 2. Inside pass, Morris with a jam. Mitchell went to the steal. Morris got point number 12 with an exclamation point.
Well, nice post up by Morris that time.
Auburn back up by 4. 15 minutes to go in the game. Southeast Regional from South Bend, Indiana. Mitchell faked the baseline drive, came back with it. Reed, back to Mitchell. Shot up, no good, short. Here's Ford with a rebound. Mitchell with a foul. Mitchell on his back. That's the 2nd personal foul and the 2nd on Purdue this half.
Well, Mitchell's going to have to shoot that jump shot when he gets it down there on the baseline.
Purdue unable to convert it. We have a timeout. 14:48 to go in the game. Timeout on the court. The score: Auburn 37, Purdue 33. Auburn leads Purdue by 4 with 14:48 remaining in the game. And Jack, last year, the Mr. Basketball in the state of Georgia was Chris Morris. He's done a great job as a freshman for Auburn. Gets a good pass here from Ford. He knows what to do with it.
Boy, he really does. He did a good job that time posting up. Had a pretty good defensive player on him that time in Todd Mitchell, but still got the dunk right there, but really posted up strong.
12 points and 2 rebounds for Morris, and he shut out Steve Reed here in the second half on the box and chaser defense for the Auburn Tigers. Auburn in its 2nd ever NCAA appearance. They lost to Richmond in their only other trip last year. Purdue in its 6th NCAA appearance with a record of 9-5 in NCAA play. They have a 2nd place finish and 3rd place finish over the years. Person outside. No good. Rebounded by Bullock. Littlejohn, who's in the game, is right there with it. Here's Purdue again. Chance to cut the lead to 2. Lewis has had the hot hand this half. Doesn't shoot that one. Looks like Auburn's going back to a straight zone.
Well, they are, and we'll see if Steve Reed can get his offense back on track. Seems like Auburn's back in that straight 2-1-2 zone defense.
Here's Reed. Inside Bullock. Shot blocked. Taken down, though, by Purdue. Littlejohn. Lewis misses. And a foul. Foul underneath on Auburn as Purdue that time had the offensive rebounding going. Foul called on Frank Ford, his 2nd.
Well, you see Purdue really working the offensive glass that time. There's a big block by Jeff Moore, and a couple other players got some hands on it. Now, there's the foul right there. Frank Ford picking up the foul.
2nd on Ford and the 1st against Auburn this half. It sends Troy Lewis to the free throw line. Lewis has 6 points this half and 8 for the game. Give him 9. 71% free throw shooter. 3rd leading scorer on the team. Has been a clutch performer. He won games for the Boilermakers at Northwestern, Michigan State, and Indiana this year. Missed the 2nd one, tapped out and taken by White of Auburn. 3-point lead for the Tigers. They've never trailed.
Purdue still in that man-to-man.
Moore, baseline jumper, no good. Moore still has not scored in the game, and a rebounding foul on Chuck Person. That'll be the first on Person, the second against Auburn.
Purdue has really done a good job on Person as you watch him walking down the floor. He's not been able to get the ball on the inside very often, and when he's caught the ball on the outside, he's taken the jump shot a little bit further out of his range than he normally likes to shoot it.
Purdue with the basketball. A bucket here would pull them within one. Lewis has all but 2 of the Boilermakers points in this half. This is Lewis with the basketball. Reed, Atkinson. Here's Lewis. Littlejohn with a rebound. So Purdue hits the offensive board, and the Boilermakers retain possession. Steve Reed from outside gets his first basket of the second half, and Purdue is within 1. 37-36, the Auburn lead.
You might see Auburn go back into that boxing chaser because you sure don't want Reed to get hot again.
Moore back to White. Baseline jump shot. No good. Tipped in by Moore. First basket of the game for freshman Jeff Moore off the offensive glass. Pete Katie didn't like the block out by his team.
Boy, he should be upset also. He has reason to be because Purdue, making a run, had Auburn a chance to take the lead if they had gotten that rebound. Auburn with a big tip. So he has a big reason to be upset.
Littlejohn is pushed by Person. That'll be the second foul on Person, and 3 this half against the Auburn Tigers. Auburn coach Sonny Smith gets Kerry Holland into the game. Holland is the only senior on the team, 6'7", out of Baldwin, Florida. Played in the first half and scored 2 points. He replaces Jeff Moore. There's Sonny Smith. He was going up. Led his team to their first ever Southeastern Conference Tournament championship this year in their second straight NCAA appearance. The only time the Tigers have been in the NCAA tournament. And he is resigning whenever the season ends for Auburn. Littlejohn, that's his 3rd point today. 70% free throw shooter is the junior out of Fort Wayne. He comes off the Boiler bench to average 4 contests. If he hits his second one, he'll pull Purdue within 1. Shot up, on its way, and good.
Purdue now has to go down and play good defense. And once again, they have to make sure that they screen out once Auburn puts up the shot. Auburn's done a good job on the offensive board.
Gerald White guarded closely by Steve Reed. Here's Chuck Person. Atkinson has the defense on him.
You see Chuck Person, he's catching the ball a little bit further out than he normally likes to catch it, so Purdue doing a good job on him.
Morris had trouble finding the handle in traffic. He picks it up and bangs it off the glass for his 14th point. Having a great game.
Oh, that was a big basket, and I don't know how he came up with that. When 2 or 3 players got a hand on it, he still was able to get it and make a big basket for Auburn.
Looks like they go back to the box and chaser now. Morris again pounding Steve Reed. Knocked away. Holland knocked it away. Person picked it up, so an Auburn steal. Tigers lead by 3 with the basketball. 11.5 minutes on the clock. In traffic, Chuck Person. 3 men around him. He got it and has hit double figures for the 66th straight game.
Well, he just hadn't been able to catch it there very often in this ball game, but as we saw in the first half, when he does catch it down there, we can see what he does with it.
Purdue keeps pecking away. They were within 1 on 2 occasions. Now Auburn back up by 5 points. Bullock down low against Holland. Lays it up. No good. Littlejohn taps it in. Robert Littlejohn on the offensive board off the glass for his 6th point. And that pulls Purdue within 3.
Purdue now into zone defense. It looks like a 1-2-2 type zone defense. No, it's a boxing chaser also. They're going with the same strategy that Auburn's using and has worked for them. They've got a chaser on Chuck Person.
Person, Morris, outside shot is there. Chris Morris putting on a show this afternoon. 16 for him. 45-40, the Auburn lead. 10 minutes, 15 seconds on the clock. Atkinson looks inside. Littlejohn and Bullock trying to get free in there. Lewis, Bullock, shot blocked, but a foul. Went up for it, and somebody got a piece of the ball, but a piece of the arm of Bullock as well. It's going to be Kerry Holland. First foul on Holland, and now 4 against Auburn.
Well, I was waiting to see if they were going to give Bullock 2 shots on this particular play. They're not going to give it. Gene Cady up complaining, saying, hey, my man was shooting it. He should have 2 free throws, but they're not going to give it to him.
Chuck Person gets a rest for Auburn. Jeff Moore is in to replace him. Lob it inside for Bullock. He was wide open. Pass from Reed, and Bullock with a jam.
Now, that was a set play. They called that from the bench during that little break right there, and they ran it to perfection. Steve Reed with an excellent pass.
Bullock has 11. Pass in the paint. Morris can't handle it. He's tied up. Jump ball. It'll go to Auburn on the alternate possession. And we'll take a timeout. 9:39 left in this Southeast Regional game. Timeout. The score, Auburn 45, Purdue 42. From the Athletic and Convocation Center on the Notre Dame campus, Tom Hammond and Jack Givens with 9:39 remaining, and Auburn leading by 3. Robert Littlejohn has done a good job off the Purdue bench today. This time, let's see him on the offensive glass.
Well, he's doing a good job. They're paying a lot of attention to Bullock and to Steve Reed, and if you're active on the inside, you can get plays like that, and Littlejohn made a big basket for the Purdue Boilermakers.
Person came over to help out on the defense, and that freed Littlejohn for the tap-in. Littlejohn with 6 points off the Purdue bench, and it's a 3-point lead for Auburn. Tigers with the basketball in front court. There's the shooting today. Auburn has cooled off a little bit, and Purdue has heated up in the second half. Gerald White guarded by Reed. Purdue man-to-man. Morris, he's been hot. That one way off the mark. Knocked out of bounds, though, by Purdue. Lewis batted it off the hand of Ford, and Auburn retains possession.
Purdue's still active in the man-to-man defense. Morris has been hot. That maybe not a good shot. A little bit further out of his range, but Auburn got a break. They'll get the ball out of bounds.
Jeff Moore misses on the jump hook, left-handed. Littlejohn with the outlet to Atkinson. He comes in against Person. Holds up, feeds it to Lewis. His short jumper rolls in. That time Purdue got the break, and Lewis converted. Lewis with 11 points, 9 this half, and Auburn leads by 1.
We've seen Purdue in this same situation many times in this ball game. Every time they get within 1, Auburn makes a big basket. Let's see what happens here.
Here's Person, fires from 16. Oh, he was under pressure. He let it fly and hit it.
Well, that was a pressure basket, and he didn't hesitate to shoot that 17-foot jump shot.
12 points in the game, Chuck Person. Again, Auburn answers the Purdue pressure. Their lead back at 3. Box and chaser defense for the Auburn Tigers. Morris guarding Reed, everybody else in his zone. Reed got away that time. Atkinson only his second shot of the game. Can't hit it. Ford with a rebound, knocked away from him and taken by Reed to the hoop. He's fouled.
Oh, a big defensive play that time by Steve Reed. Came up from behind to knock that ball loose. Came up with the loose ball and then made a strong move to the basket to draw the foul. Watch this defensive play from behind. And there's Reed. Didn't hesitate, saw the opening, and no doubt about that foul.
Fouled by Jeff Moore. That's the 3rd on Moore. He's the first player in the game with as many as 3. And 5 this half against the Tigers. Reed, 67% on the season on the line. Missed that one. That was his first trip to the charity stripe today.
Well, it's hard to understand why he's only shooting 67% from the free throw line when he's such a good outside shooter. We've seen that in this ball game.
Academic All-Big Ten, second-team Academic All-American. Missed them both. Rebound by Moore of Auburn. 2 big misses by Reed. And the Auburn lead is still 3. 47-44. 8 minutes, 10 seconds left. Lob inside. Person lays it in. Good pass from Moore. Person gets number 14.
Oh, you got to like Auburn for the way they're playing right now. Running the plays have been good to them. They set that play up. Chuck Person calling for the ball, and no doubt about it, when he wants it that badly, it's going to go to him.
Under 8 minutes. Auburn leads by 5. Purdue keeps supplying the pressure. Auburn is not yet folded.
Auburn now in that straight 3-2 zone defense. Sort of a 1-3. Looks like a 1-3-1 now, so they have changed the defenses up one more time.
Lewis is open from there, and he hits it. Troy Lewis has been the offense in the second half for Purdue. He has 13, 11 of those this half, and again pulls the Boilermakers within 3. Inside Moore, double team, threw it right to Reed. Bad pass by Moore. Reed gets it to Littlejohn. Overshoots Atkinson. They had 3 on none. Purdue had a sure basket and threw it away.
Well, I tell you what, Purdue, a tough break that time for Purdue. They, as you said, had a 3-on-0 situation. No defensive player back for Auburn that time, and Littlejohn a little bit too much on it. The ball sailed right out of bounds.
Well, the Auburn Tigers getting a gift that time in backup court, leading by 3. Person is open, top of the key. It's good.
Well, that's too much room for him. He's really feeling it right now and running off those picks, moving so well right now without the ball.
Unanimous all-SEC choice, second in the league at scoring at 22 a game. Give Chuck Person 16 in this one. Reed has to jump up to save that pass. Is Purdue getting a little careless? Lewis open again. He hits again.
Oh, we might see a boxing chaser again by Auburn. That time they're in their straight 2-3 zone defense, but that guy right there, Lewis, may be the one getting chased the next time.
The Purdue guards, Lewis and Reed, have combined for 31 of their 48 points. It's been a perimeter game for the Boilermakers today. They trail by 3.
Auburn needs to work right now for a good shot. No reason right now for Auburn to rush it.
Here's Person. He's taken over here down the stretch. Turnaround jumper under pressure again. He didn't even look at the basket. Chuck Person.
What a basket. Pressure basket by Chuck Person. You can see he's the star for Auburn. He's coming for the ball now with time running down. You can see who wants the ball for Auburn.
That one drawing ooh from the crowd. Here's Lewis. He hits while on his backside. Troy Lewis with an acrobatic hoop.
We're seeing a shooting display by both teams right now. Troy Lewis for Purdue and Chuck Person for Auburn.
Lewis was 17, Person with 18. White drives to the basket and a foul. Before the shot, it's called on Lewis of Purdue. No, excuse me, it's going to be called on Atkinson.
I think Atkinson reached in that time. You'll see Ford making a strong move to the basket. Now there's the reach in right there. Atkinson got him across the arm.
So it was Mark Atkinson committing his 3rd foul, the first Purdue player with 3. We've got a timeout with 5:36 to play. Timeout on the court. The score, Auburn 53, Purdue 50. 5:36 on the clock, a 3-point lead for Auburn. They never trailed. Purdue keeps applying the pressure, though, and Jack, as we mentioned as we started the telecast today, Auburn coming out of that SEC tournament. They had to play 4 games in 4 days to win it. Is the fatigue going to be a factor here?
Well, it hadn't been a factor so far. 5 minutes and a half to go, so you never know.
Gene Cady trying to rally his troops. They've been within 1 point on several occasions, but never able to get over the hump as Auburn continues to repulse the Purdue challenges. Many people said Auburn would be emotionally and physically drained after 4 games in 4 days in the SEC tournament. They haven't wilted yet with 5:36 to go. Auburn 53, Purdue 50. Tigers with the ball in front court. They line up in single file, and White will be the trigger man on the inbounds play. To see if Purdue zones on the inbounds player if they stick man-to-man. Looks like they're going to stick man-to-man.
I think they will, but
White lobs it into Morris, who has to jump over Atkinson to save it.
they've been aggressive in that man-to-man defense. When you're aggressive, you can zone, you can play man-to-man on those out-of-bounds plays.
Here's Person, missed that one. Rebound, Littlejohn fighting with Morris. Littlejohn controls. Bullock, they make a couple of swipes at him, but Purdue controls. Reed, here's Lewis. He's been hot. He missed that one. Person sandwiched between 2 players, saves it to Morris, who gets it into front court for Auburn. With the 2 hot men, Person of Auburn, Lewis of Purdue, misfire, and it's still Auburn's basketball with a 3-point lead, and even 5 minutes left. Here's Person again, drives on Atkinson, pulls up with a jumper, rattles down. Again, Atkinson playing good defense right in his face, and there's no way to stop that, Jack.
That's right. I don't know if you can play him any better than that. Atkinson right up on him, forcing him to shoot the shot over him, and Person just making some big baskets right now.
Here's Reed. Steve Reed with a big basket for Purdue. He has only 4 points this half, but 18 for the game, and he pulls the Boilermakers back within 3.
You can see now what Purdue tries to do. to keep the ball away from Chuck Person. The way to stop him is just not let him catch it.
And he's catching it way out on the floor, but makes it doubly difficult for the Purdue defense.
Well, he's creating his own shots.
Moore gives it back to White, approaching the 4-minute mark. Auburn leads by 3. They've never trailed in the game. Chris Morris, spinning move, rattles down. Chris Morris with 18 points. Got it to him low, and he banked it home.
Well, Auburn just running their offense, staying right within their pattern, and they haven't taken any bad shots. And that's so important when you're trying to hold on to a lead.
Been impressed with the way Auburn has been able to hang tough in the face of some intense Purdue pressure. Reed, Bullock underneath, wide open, he laid it in. They got it to him wide open, and they had to let him score, or else foul him, and Bullock laid it in. Knocked out of bounds. It'll go to Purdue. They say Morris touched it last. Good hustle by Atkinson.
Well, Atkinson's been playing great defense this whole ball game. He's been assigned to Chuck Person. Has done a pretty good job.
Atkinson hasn't scored, but has been playing tough defense. And Sonny Smith of Purdue calls for a timeout. Timeout on the court with the score. Auburn 57, Purdue 53. The Boilers of Purdue continue to rally. They're within 3 at 57-54. 3.5 minutes left. And let's see the Purdue action this time as they go deep to Bullock, who posts up low.
Well, he hadn't been able to catch the ball a whole lot here in the second half. They hadn't needed him because Troy Lewis has been hitting from the outside, and Steve Reed has also been hitting from the outside, but they got the ball inside the Bullock that time, and he answered the call.
Jack, this game is sort of like an old-style Western shootout. The two are staring each other right in the eye, and the first one to blink is going to be the one that loses.
Oh, that's for sure. Auburn now on the man-to-man. We haven't seen much of a man-to-man from Auburn today.
Person went for the steal, committed his 3rd foul. 3rd foul on Person and the 6th on Auburn this half.
Auburn's been changing up their defense. They've been in the 2-3 zone, a 2-1-2. They played the 1-3-1. Of course, they've been in the box and chaser for a long time when Steve Reed got hot. Now they're in the man-to-man, and once again, they're back in the zone.
The inbounds play, they zone. Reed tries to get open, can't get away. Atkinson. Auburn now has gone back to the man-to-man after they zoned the inbounds pass. Lewis is open. He got away from Ford, missed it. Fight for the rebound. Wow, big rebound by Moore, who just took it away from the Purdue player.
Boy, he really did. He got up for that rebound. That was a big one, too.
So Auburn with possession, leading by 3. White in traffic, feeds it back outside to Ford, and White comes back to get it. Reed right there with him.
It looks like Auburn's going to try to milk this clock for a little while.
Over the back, Bullock on the back of Person after making the steal. Bullock has his 3rd. Only the 4th, though, against Purdue. They've got fouls to waste with 2:37 left. (57-54), Auburn leads. They'll throw it inbounds beneath their basket. Gene Cady. Out of his coat early. Really working over on the Purdue sideline.
Well, he's been working since this game started.
Here's Person to Ford and to White. Clock ticks down under 2.5 minutes. Reed got him on the arm. Steve Reed, his 3rd foul. And the 5th now against Purdue, still with a foul to waste. Here's the personal situation. Purdue has Atkinson, Bullock, and Reed with 3 each. Auburn has Person and Moore with 3 apiece.
Hey, Purdue would like to have the ball back if Auburn's going to milk the clock. Those 3 fouls might not be a good thing, so they're going to have to foul a couple more times before they're able to get the ball back.
Bullock able to knock it away. Auburn again will control. .223 on the clock. 3-point Auburn lead. Lob it in to Person. Reed made a swipe at him. Person blindly feeds it right back out to White.
Oh, that was a risky pass.
Down low, posting up is Person. No question about who Auburn wants to go to. And a foul called on Bullock, and that's the 4th on James Bullock.
Well, the kind of second half he's had, I don't blame Auburn for looking right into him every time they need a basket.
So on the next Purdue foul, Auburn will shoot 1+1. Remember, Auburn not a good free throw shooting team. Only 64.4% on the season. They are 3 of 5 all in the first half today. 2 minutes to play. Person, bad pass. Ford was breaking to the basket. Person tried to bounce it to him, and Auburn turns it over.
Now that's a big break for Purdue. Now they have to come down and capitalize on this turnover. Doesn't do you any good to get out there and play the tough man-to-man defense and force the turnover if you don't come down and score. So this is a big trip for Purdue.
Littlejohn whips it to Atkinson. 1:40 to play. Auburn leads it by 3. Purdue with the basketball. Boilermakers in no hurry, no panic here. Inside Atkinson, great catch. Saved a bad pass. Lewis, short. Atkinson with a rebound. Purdue controls. Inside Littlejohn, spinning move, no good. Littlejohn with a rebound. Fires, it's good.
Good job by Purdue that time, working the offensive board, stayed right with it. They knew they needed a big rebound that time, and they worked hard and got the ball to go down finally.
Littlejohn has really done a great job on the offensive boards for Purdue since coming into the game. And a foul on Steve Reed, his 4th, reaching in, trying for the steal on White. And that'll send us to the Auburn free throw line for 1+1. Gerald White is 0 for 2 at the line. Had 2 free throws in the first half and missed them both. Gerald White, who is all-SEC freshman last year, having a great sophomore season for Sonny Smith. 2nd in the league in assists. Averages 8 a game. He'll have 1 more free throw, shooting for his 8th point. He could give Auburn a 3-point edge.
Big free throw right here. Keep that score.
Rimmed out. Littlejohn with a rebound. Here's Purdue with a chance to tie. 1 minute to play. Green. Lewis hits the tie.
That's a freshman making those shots, Tom. A freshman taking the pressure shots in a big game like this. His first trip to the NCAA. That was a big basket.
Lewis ties it. That's the first time we've had a tie score since Auburn scored the first trip of the game. So Purdue has had an uphill battle, but they've clawed back to tie it. 41 seconds left. Timeout with a score. Auburn 58, Purdue 58. We just 15 points in the game, 17 of those in a very hot second half. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank tournament manager Joe O'Brien, media coordinator Roger Valdesari, athletic director Pat Dye of Auburn, head basketball coach Sonny Smith and his staff, sports information director John Lewandowski. From Purdue, athletic director George King, head basketball coach George Cady and his staff, and sports information director Jim Brubnick. Transportation arrangements made through Fugazi International Travel, the official travel agency of the 1985 NCAA basketball tournament. Auburn will put it in play. 41 ticks of the clock left. Man-to-man pressure from Purdue. Let's see if Auburn will hold it now for the final shot, Jack.
I think they will, and I think you'll see Coach Sonny Smith call another timeout for his team with around 10, 12 seconds left. They'll set up then for that final shot, that final play of the game.
Over 11,000 fans here. Everybody knows who they want to take the last shot. Number 45 in blue, Chuck Person. Purdue fans wanted a walking call, didn't get it. You see the clock now, less than 15. A foul on Atkinson. Atkinson's committed the foul. It'll send a freshman, Chris Morris, to the free throw line. And he is a 63% free throw shooter.
Oh, and Coach Sonny Smith was already up, signaling to his team, timeout, timeout. And Atkinson makes the foul. Not a good foul in that situation.
And, of course, it gives Auburn a chance to go 2 up. But, again, the freshman will feel the pressure here. He's had a good game, but has not been to the free throw line. Chris Morris has scored 18 points, but has not attempted a free throw.
Wasn't very much contact on that play, but Atkinson did have his hand on the hip of the freshman Chris Morris, and Morris is going to have to answer with 2 big free throws, 2 big chances here.
Leads the Tigers in blocks, second in steals, but the free throws are what Auburn wants now from Chris Morris. Mr. Basketball in the state of Georgia last year. Whoa, under pressure. He hits nothing but the bottom.
He's had that kind of game. He's had himself a good game so far.
Auburn by 1. They've already given the ball to Chris Morris, and Purdue tried to call a timeout, distracting to the shooter, and now what happens? Sonny Smith is really giving it to the official on the side. Steve Reed just as Morris had the ball, reached in to call timeout. Morris ready to shoot again.
Tell you what, if he misses this free throw, there should have been a violation on Steve Reed for stepping across the line before after the official gave him the ball. The official didn't call it, but there should have been a violation right there.
Well, Reed gets it into front court. He calls a timeout. 10 seconds left. Purdue will have a chance to win it. Auburn leads by 59-58. Well, what happened was that Morris had the basketball. Reed stepped over and said timeout, and the official took the ball back.
Well,
that's time distracting Morris.
That's right, but once you give the player the ball on the free throw line, if any player steps across that line, it's a violation. So really, it should have been a violation. And if he missed that shot, which he did, he should have gotten another free throw. The official blew the whistle, which stopped the play, but Steve Reed stepped across the line. Should have been a violation.
It'll be Purdue's ball with 10 seconds left, and Auburn leading by 59-58. Remember, Purdue has never led in the game. They've been hanging tough the entire way, and the guards have done it for them. Troy Lewis, who has had 19 points. Steve Reed with 18 as Auburn shut down the inside play. Starters Atkinson and Mitchell haven't scored for Purdue, but it's been Lewis and Reed that have carried the load today for the Purdue Boilermakers, and they have a chance to win it with 10 seconds left.
Well, I think they would. You can get the ball to either Steve Reed, who's had himself a great game. You can get the ball to Troy Lewis, who's had a good game. Or you can work the ball on the inside to James Bullock, which is probably what they would want to do. If he gets fouled, if he misses a shot, he has a chance to get fouled, and he can go to the line for the chance for 2 free throws.
Let's see how Auburn sets up now. They're going to match up man-to-man. Or are they? All right, here we go. 10 seconds left. Purdue down 1 with the ball in front court. Auburn's in a zone. Here's Reed. Clock starts its tick down. Reed threads his way inside. Bullock shoots over Moore. It's no good. 1 second. Auburn wins.
Oh, what a big win for Auburn. And Purdue got the ball inside as I thought they would. I thought they would go inside to James Bullock, which they did. Bullock had a good shot, but the ball just wouldn't go down.
He did have a good shot. He tried to bank it off the glass well within his range. A shot that James Bullock hit more often than not. But this one, the one that counted, would not go down. And Auburn, under intense pressure from Purdue, is able to hold on for the 1-point win, 59-58. That's the first win in history in NCAA play for Auburn. Watch the last play again. Here it is, Jack.
Well, you see Purdue work the ball, and they get the ball to Steve Reed, who, if he's open, he's supposed to take it. But watch Bullock get position up under there, and Auburn doing a good job not fouling him. But that's the kind of shots you want in that situation. It just didn't go down. Purdue ran the play they wanted to run.
Rimmed out. Chris Morris able to take the rebound, and Auburn has the win to advance in the NCAA tournament. That's the end of the game with the final score, Auburn 59, Purdue 58. We'll return for closing comments on today's game after these messages.
Great win for our kids.
Well, your team did answer the pressure, but did you think they were a little bit tired? They had to win 4 games in 4 days.
I honestly, Jack, felt like if the kids felt the way I did, we didn't have a chance to win. You know, I kind of felt after the 4 straight days of the Southeastern Conference tournament that it was over. You know, you feel like you've accomplished all you can. But these kids, they just won't quit. They've been playing like this through about a 10-game stretch, and if they keep this up, the sky's the limit.
How important was it to your team to get out to an early lead? We know they came out hot, got out to that lead. How important was that to you?
Well, I think it's very important to this club because they're so young to always get a quick start at the early in the ball game and right after the half. And we didn't do it right after the half, but we did it early, and that kind of carried us the rest of the way.
What did you talk to your team about at the halftime? You're in pretty good position, had a little bit of a lead.
Well, we felt like offensively we were playing very well, but defensively Reed was killing us. We had tried a box and one, we had tried the 1-3-1, we tried the 2-3. So we decided to go back with the box and one and just take Chris Marsh and tell him, don't do anything but guard Reed. He did a good job until Troy Lewis got so hot, and then they started getting it inside the Bullock. Then we started mixing up our defenses. So we really did a combination of things today to win.
You had laryngitis all through the SEC tournament. You got that voice back. I know that must feel good.
I'll have laryngitis again tomorrow after today, but it's worth it, I tell you. I'll let Mac coach tomorrow, my assistant.
Tom's got a couple of your players. You might want to hang around. We might have some more questions for you later. Go ahead, Tom.
Okay, Jack, we do have a couple of the stars of the game for the Auburn Tigers, and we're talking about Chris Morris and Chuck Person, who had excellent games today and carried the offense for the Auburn Tigers. Chris Morris coming through with 19 points, including that one free throw that proved to be the margin of victory. What about that second free throw, Chris, at the line? Steve Reed had tried to call a timeout when you already had the ball and you missed the shot. Was it a distraction?
Yes, I tried, concentrate a little bit more, but I saw, they were calling timeout. Then that's kind of like slowed my pace down a little. So I tried to concentrate a little bit more at the free throw line, but then it veered off to the left, and I missed.
Chris, you had a great game offensively, 19 points. It looked like you had a lot of confidence. A lot of times freshmen coming into a tournament, a big question mark, but you seem to have your game very confident today.
Yes, Sonny keep telling me that, I got to learn, the role play, and I'm trying to do that. So I just try to come in and play hard as I can as a freshman and start as a starter too, and, contribute to the team.
What about defensively? Coach Smith went to a box and one and put you on Steve Reed. At 6'7", he's 5'9". You had a height advantage, but you able to stay with him? Enough quickness to stay with him?
Well, he's a little runner. I don't think he gets tired, so I was trying to stay with him. And most of the time, he was hitting most of the shots. And so, I was trying to get most of the block shots he tried to shoot. And he was just hitting, that's all.
Were you pretty pleased with the way the defense worked?
Yes, we slowed him down a little bit because he was the only offensive, threat they had. Because we shut down Bullock, and we just came out to win them.
All right, that's Chris Morris, who had 19 points, played a great game for Auburn today. Let's turn over now to their All-American Chuck Person. Person had 18 points, and, of course, 10 of those came in the second half of play. And a couple of times down there in the second half, Chuck, it looked like you just absolutely wanted the ball. You put it up with a guy in your face from long range, and you just knew it was going to go down. Did you have that kind of feeling?
I had the feeling going to the second half that I need to get some real good shots off and keep the pressure out of the rest of our guys. They took the pressure off me in the first half, and I thought it was my duty to keep the pressure off them. I think Chris Morris played an excellent game for us, and Jerry White led a steady performance out of the point guard.
What about that fatigue factor after the SEC tournament? You beat Alabama, your big rival, kind of an emotional win, the first ever tournament championship for Auburn, then got to get ready to play in the NCAA. Were you afraid you might be a little flat?
Well, I thought we were going to be sluggish coming out, but we worried because of the tournament in Birmingham and the tough win over Alabama, but we came out red hot and we held the team off.
Last year, the first tournament appearance ever for Auburn, you were upset by Richmond. Were you determined not to be upset and not to be not ready to play as you were last year?
Well, last year we looked ahead to Indiana and looked past Richmond. This year, we knew Purdue was going to be a good team, and we can look forward to Kansas Ohio U game.
Chuck, let me ask you just a little something about your relationship with Coach Smith. As everyone knows, he's resigned effective at the end of the season. It seems that the players have a special feeling for Sonny Smith.
Well, Coach Smith is a boss to all of us, and we admire him a lot, and he respects us a lot enough so we can call him Sonny, and I think he respects us more when we call him Sonny than they call him Coach Smith. So we're doing this thing for him. He never won a game in the NCAA tournament, and we're getting this for him.
So the players call him Sonny, and Chuck Person says they won it for him, Coach Sonny Smith, who is resigning at the end of the season, whenever that might be for Auburn, because the Tigers are still alive, and Jack is back again with Coach Smith of Auburn. Jack?
Coach Tom just asked your star player about the fact you resign and what that means to the team, what it has meant since you announced it. You want to make a comment on that?
I think every job I get from now on, I'm going to quit in the middle of the season. I think that helps. No, I don't want to make any comment on that. I love Auburn. Auburn's a great place for me. I've been there 7 years. It's time to go, and somebody else is going to have some tremendous players to play with, and they're going to do a great job.
Now, Coach, you've got to get your mind and your team thinking about Kansas. What about them?
Big, well-coached, great outside shooting. I think they have the ingredients to win the whole thing. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But I think if we play, and we're kind of an emotional type team, one of those Cinderella jobs everybody's talking about, we might could do something.
Coach, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Tom's got another guest for us.
All right, Sonny Smith with that lucky pink coat he said he bought just for the tournament. His team a one-point winner, 59-58 over Purdue. So a great performance for the Auburn Tigers. And Gene Corrigan, the athletic director at Notre Dame, is with us now. Not only is he athletic director of the host school here, his team is playing in the tournament, and he's a member of the NCAA Division I Basketball Selection Committee. It's been a busy couple of weeks for you, hasn't it?
Makes me a public enemy #1, doesn't it? Yeah, it sure